Branding and culture are well intertwined, each impacting the other, each constantly evolving and changing. Both brands and culture are shaped by stories, and these days, many of those stories are told via social media networks in real time with real impact and real consequences. Today on Shak, we have Paula Jackman, who's a freelance creative consultant with over 15 years experience in marketing and communications, as well as a background in journalism and broadcasting. Paula is passionate about West Indian arts and culture, media, and marketing for the arts, and is in her final semester of a Bachelor of Arts in Arts and Entertainment Management. She's also the incoming president of Kiwanis Club Pride of Barbados. Welcome, Paula, and thanks for joining me today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes. So tell me about your work as a marketing and communications professional and how that overlaps with your passion for arts and culture.
Sure. So going back to come forward, as people say,
Mm-hmm.
I would have started out in banking, believe it or not, for
Yep.
7 years. And in the last 4 years or so of that, I actually went into the marketing department of that bank. And it was really exciting because they
Mm-hmm.
were managing 17 territories and you were running things by line items. So I would get to see credit card campaign, consumer loan campaigns, all kinds of things, generic brand awareness. And I started to really get excited about this
Mm-hmm.
thing because in my start as a mass comm girl, I just wanted to be a journalist. And then there was no job opportunity. So you went to the bank. That's what a lot of us did. We took the
Okay.
job that was available at the time. So
I
when I
hear you.
went into the bank, and then I ended up in the marketing department because of an internal vacancy. I actually started to fall in love with marketing and communications and branding and PR. And then I always tell the story of how the team came from the agency in Trinidad. And these Lonsdale people were so me. You ever saw yourself in someone else? The
Mm-hmm.
bright colored hair, talking a little too
Oh,
loud,
your spirit animal.
laughing.
Your spirit
It was
animal.
my spirit animal encapsulated in this woman who was their account exec. And from the bank, I went into the agency life and never came out until I decided to go back to school and do my degree. And that's where I am now as a freelance creative consultant. So it's a culmination of all the knowledge that I've gained over the past 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now in the passion that I've gained for Barbadian, and I say West Indian because I'm interested in the broader Caribbean culture
Yes,
as
yes,
well.
yes,
And
yes.
using my knowledge and my experience and the ups and the downs to try to better this thing that you call Brand Barbados, that we call Brand Barbados. And
Yes,
I'm very,
yes.
very, very excited to do that. But I'm still doing some traditional marketing as well, freelance for some of my clients. And I still love that very, very much.
Okay. That's good. That's
Yes.
good. Interesting journey. So you
Yeah.
mentioned brand Barbados. So how would
Yeah.
you describe Barbadian culture or the Barbados brand?
I
Maybe
won't lie to you, it is hard to describe.
I
And I
agree.
am actually stealing part of my description from an interview I did with someone else where they said it just is, it's almost intangible, it's amorphous, it is ever evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Barbadian
Mm-hmm.
culture is as much cropover and conquist as it is what we experience within the context of the impact of North American culture
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
UK culture, and we're watching hundreds of thousands of channels, UK Drag Race, everything. Our lingo is changing.
Yes.
We're adopting certain American slang, but at the same time, there's still something very us. There's still a way that you go to China and you see someone, and before they start to talk, you say,
Mm-hmm.
"That body look Beijing though."
It's true. That happens to me in like the US all the time. I go to a store and I'm like, wait, this buddy got a face that look familiar.
Yeah, that body's a Brathwaite. Feel like that body is a Thompson. That body look like them from like Foot Lane is a feeling, it's an
I
energy.
get you. I
So
get you.
there's so much to it, and there's some of us within the arts and entertainment sphere who resent the fact that it can't be easily labeled,
Mm-hmm.
like how Jamaica may say you see certain things red, yellow, and green, and you immediately think Jamaica.
Yeah.
People do, even though it's Rastafari,
Yeah.
but people see that
Yeah.
and think Jamaica, they see red, black, and white and think Trini, maybe
Mm-hmm.
get doubles one time. But I still think there is something that is very us, but it's just so hard to put a finger on.
Well, maybe
It's
one
so
day we will.
hard.
Maybe one day we will solve that.
Maybe I will be able to put it into a sentence.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, maybe I'm gonna. Maybe that's your homework, Paula. Maybe I'm gonna reach out to you in like a year and say, Paula, did you come up with that
Do you
sentence?
have a definition of brand Barbados
I've
yet?
been waiting on this, Paula.
Other than 166 miles on a smile wide.
So I mean, you've touched a little bit on something I was coming to. So as a former radio
Yeah,
personality and the host of
yeah,
NCS for the culture, I know you have your
yeah,
finger on the pulse of the people. So
yeah.
do you think
I
there's been
try.
do you think there's been a shift in your culture? I guess you kind of talked a little bit about that. I
Yeah.
guess it's kind of, evolving.
Yeah, it is evolving. Even right now, my final paper, my studies are on Bashment Soca and what it
Mm-hmm.
is and where it came from. And for something that is the newest genre in our landscape, that has already gone through so much change already, because
Yeah.
that is an evolution of Bajan dub,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
heavily impacted by Jamaican dance hall, because Jamaica is a super influencer in just Caribbean cultural identity. Their prowess cannot be
Yeah.
taken for
Yeah.
granted,
It's
So
true.
it impacts us in every area. But our culture is definitely shifting. But what
Mm-hmm.
I like, I dare say, hopefully nobody stones me. I
Don't worry
feel
about it.
as though I feel as though we have a generation that is embracing it even more than millennials coming
Okay.
up. It's
Okay.
almost like cool. Brand Barbados is getting cooler to younger people. There was a
Mm-hmm.
time when we would see somebody in a shirt saying Barbados and we would like, that must be cheap, you know? But now you got brands like Nabra popping
Mm-hmm.
up
Yes.
with Bajan dialect sings. I can't say the word, but DJ Puffy has a very popular hat that
Mm-hmm.
everybody is
Mm-hmm.
buying with a very popular Bajan slang word. And I feel as though we're heading in the right direction. The shift is towards making us cool. We're good for us and we're good for you too. Come here, try us, buy a shirt, leave with a brand Barbados shirt on your
Okay.
back.
Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Okay. So, a slightly, different question, and I guess you kind of alluded to it, as well, but along the same
Yeah.
lines, do you
Yeah.
do you feel like is it a shift, or do you think we're losing our cultural identity due to all these like other influences, or maybe we're influencing the world?
I don't know for sure how much we are impacting the world. I try not to speak on things that I'm not sure about.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
know, I know that being Caribbean right now and having Caribbean roots and some of it Barbadian is all of a sudden cool in at least
It's true.
Hollywood. Everybody is like, oh, my great grandmother 16,000 times removed is from St. Lucie. And you got all of these comedians on the internet now, and they're trying to do Bajan accents and Trinity accents and
And
everything.
terribly.
And
Yes.
I think that we're benefiting from that wave. I don't know if we could own it and say we sparked that wave in any way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I think we're benefiting from the shift. And there's a lot of external influences, yes, and there will continue to be, because even in our first management class, we learn about how the internet is making it one global
Oh
marketplace
yes.
and the
Oh yes.
world is that much smaller. So we are like a sponge taking in lots of influences. And I don't know within our limited means if we're able to push that back out to the globe as we would like. But I
Mm-hmm.
hope to be part of the change. I hope
Okay.
we are
Yeah.
part of the change, and podcasts like yours could be on the BBC as part of some segment of Caribbean content,
Oh well,
It's not impossible.
from your lips to God's ears then.
Amen.
Well, and maybe, you mentioned maybe it's like, I think of it like the tide, washing things ashore
Yeah.
and taking things back out. So,
And
you know,
energy cannot die. It's exchanged, it's
right.
transferred.
All
So
of that.
hopefully.
Yeah. So, I mean, you talked about, technology, the internet. So we live in a time where
Yeah.
tech, social media, like second nature, like breathing. Um,
Yeah.
but what would you say you think is the best strategy, in your mind, at a
Mhm.
high level, to share our culture, the Barbados brand with the world?
Yeah, what we're doing right now, we are on the right track. Everybody is on social media, especially sadly because of the pandemic. More people are indoors and
Mm-hmm.
glued to their mobile phones, glued to Netflix and watching documentary after documentary
Oh
or
God, yes.
scrolling social media. Yeah, I heard about Seaspiracy. I have to
Oh my
check it
God!
out.
Listen, I think you're peeping my Netflix, Paula.
I'm frightened because I got a good piece of salmon to cook tomorrow. So I think we are actually headed in the right direction, and people like BTMI, responsible for our marketing as a country, they are really embracing digital media. So we're doing the right thing. That's the right thing to do right now,
Mm-hmm.
because the way the world goes, there's going to be a shift again. Before it was newspapers at the top of the list, then it was TV, and then it was radio,
Yeah.
and it's going to keep changing, and the only way for us to succeed at promoting ourselves is to be on the pulse and stay in front and
Mm-hmm.
know what's happening. There are people that years ago were saying, the internet is going to take over, and some people were like, whatever. And now some
Mm-hmm.
magazines, some newspapers have literally died a death
Yep.
because they didn't make the brave decision
Yeah, the
to
shift.
go
Mm-hmm.
into the digital realm, and you can't afford to do that. Not in the business of marketing and communications. You gotta be flexible, and you gotta be ready to make that change. So we're doing the right thing at the moment.
Yeah, and I guess I see a lot of new opportunities and stuff like for
Yeah.
exporting our culture. I see Spotify actually recently said they're expanding into the region, so
Yes,
I think
yes,
that's
and
good
it's now
for.
available. Yeah,
Yeah.
is Instagram Music here yet though?
Mm, again, maybe from our lips.
We deserve Instagram. We deserve.
I know. So, with the increase in social media that we mentioned, do you think, I mean,
Yeah,
these are like, it's a tool and that kind of thing, but do you think it's
yeah,
harder for artists and even businesses in some way to kind of function and maintain the momentum and attention needed to be
yeah.
successful? It's demanding. Do you know?
It is very demanding. And what people take for granted is that social media is a science. It's very fun to use, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm.
easy to log on. And with the advent of apps like Canva, we can all create a graphic nowadays,
Oh yeah.
put our logo on it, and get it on the internet. But there's a reason some of us have 6 likes, and there's a reason some of us have 6,000 shares.
Mm-hmm.
So I think more people need to invest the time into learning the tool that they have,
Okay. Yeah.
because right now for a lot of people it's an advantage, but right now it's like monkey handling gun.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
don't even understand the power of the tool in your hands. You don't
Yeah.
understand how to work the metrics. You don't understand how to even measure your success or
Mm-hmm.
evaluate your failure and come fresh.
Got
So
you.
it's there's so much potential. I think it's not being used correctly. For example, LinkedIn. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was saying there's so much opportunity on LinkedIn, but some people are using LinkedIn to flirt.
Wow.
Like,
Okay.
yes, believe it or not. So now I have to be even more discerning
Oh
in who
my.
I add. We all do, because I was thinking I don't need to put that side of my brain on when I'm on there, but apparently now I do,
So people
because again,
sliding in your DMs
sliding
on
in the
LinkedIn.
DMs,
Excuse
yes.
me.
It
Oh.
is, and it's just not the vibe. That's not
I hear you. Well then, so I guess maybe then I was gonna ask about if what's the biggest obstacle to building a brand, but I guess
Yeah.
maybe your answer before, is about not really knowing how to use the tools
Yeah,
that we have. And
that's one for sure. That's up there. That's right up there in the top three. I would say not knowing how to use the tools at your disposal. But I would say if I had to pick a number one, gun to my head, why so violent, Paula? But if I had to pick a number one, I would say actually not knowing your business. And
okay.
again, if ever I was to leave a legacy, I want it to be we have to appreciate research. We have to do
Mm-hmm.
more research. Some people are like, I see someone doing X, I'm going to go and do X, but you're not seeing the other variables. You
Mm-hmm.
need to
I got you.
understand the context of the business. You need to understand what media is best for you to use for that business and what message you need to put in the media. And all of that starts with good research and knowing the market that you're communicating to, knowing the industry that you're a part of, knowing your competitor.
Mm-hmm.
Research is so, so, so important. And I don't think that we appreciate it enough
Yeah.
as small Barbadian businesses. And it could be too because there can be a cost attached. But again, know the tool you have at your disposal. There's so many cute things that will allow you to do research on, let's say, Instagram,
Yeah.
without even people even realizing that's what you're doing. You could be launching a new business, selling rotis, and just post a picture and be like, I love chicken and potato. What's your favorite flavor?
Yeah. I
And
get
when
you.
100 people
Mm-hmm.
have said beef, then you know you
Yep.
need to watch your ratio when you're ordering. That
Yeah.
informs your inventory. Easy so. I would rather you did broader research, but working
Yeah.
within your means, there's things you can do right now free of charge on digital media to start doing research to benefit your business.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
So
sense to
that's
me.
to me the greatest challenge. People
Okay.
not knowing the business they're in.
Fair enough. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
How important would you say is it to build a community as an artist, as a brand, to kind of like
Yeah.
find your tribe, I guess.
It's so important. And again, it comes back to research. You need to know who wants what it is you've got to offer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense you sitting here in Barbados and you're saying, okay, I am making K-pop and I am only making K-pop and I'm only selling to Bajans. Me personally, I learned what K-pop is maybe a year ago.
Mm.
That's like the biggest thing in Asian
Oh
countries,
yes, oh yes. Let me pause there because I was
and it
like,
is
oh, okay, I'm with you now.
and it's like Korean hip hop, I think.
Yes,
I
oh
stand
yeah.
corrected. And it's developing here, it's getting bigger here. There's some people like how we would have had a couple people in our college days dressing like emo.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
little subculture,
Okay.
but it's nowhere near the numbers consuming Bajan dub and bashment soca and all that. If you expanded your reach and you did some sort of research, you would see maybe there's a huge audience for it somewhere else in the region. Maybe you don't even need to go all the way to Asia, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not here. It's not big enough here for you to sustain yourself. So
Got you.
that's important research that you need to do. So you need to find your community. Yes, I would say 100%. Look at the success of Mahalia's Corner.
Oh yeah.
That is one of my favorite brands to look at and
Mm-hmm.
talk about. I remember it being tiny and upstairs bump and wine.
Yes, I was
And
talking
that
about that this week.
community, that community was building all back then and just growing and doing one of the things that all brands aspire to do, which is to get your consumer to do the leg work. By the
Yes.
time she says tickets are out, I am calling, I'm putting it
Mm,
in group chat. When again?
exactly. How many tickets I need to order?
Ticket solo a days.
Yep.
Exactly. Ticket solo a days. She running ads right now for fun.
Yeah, I've
Because
been
we already doing the legwork.
it's true. And I've been a victim of, Take it so no. So I understand.
I haven't been in a long time, so same here. Community is very important. And I dare say it to stray a little bit, even in life, it's so important to
Yeah.
find your tribe.
Oh yes. Oh
That's
yes.
one of the keys to success, personal and professional.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
So we talked about social media, as a tool, but do you think it's also shifted maybe power in the society, not only to determine what is relevant and valuable, but in
Mhm.
allowing marginalized voices? I mean, we just talked about K-pop.
Yeah, definitely. When we look at what just happened with the historic removal of Nelson's statue from in Bridgetown, that happened because someone decided to use social media as a tool for advocacy. And all of a sudden, some of us who would never have experienced signing a petition before in our
Mm-hmm.
lives, it was easy to log on, get the information, read about it, and add our signatures digitally. So I think a lot of people in Barbados, in the region, across the globe, are using social media in that way. And I
Yeah.
think it's fantastic. And
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
it's one of the I find it so hard to say, but blessings in the middle of this very terrible time, because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know a lot of people are saying, oh, you have to sign the opportunity. But it's like, people are dying. Be
Yeah.
cool. Just
It's
calm
true.
down.
It's true.
But the
It's
truth
true.
is, I guess there is a silver lining in even the darkest of clouds, as this is. And that's one of the things we are learning how to navigate this tool in such a different way than we
Yeah.
did before. We were
Yeah.
using it so casually. No, it's where we work, it's where we exercise, it's where we go to
Oh
church.
gosh. Oh
And
yes.
no, it's a part of building community and advocating for all different disenfranchised groups. And I
Yeah.
think it's great.
Yep.
I think it's
Okay.
really good.
So, I mean, on the other side of that question, like the flip
Yeah.
side, do you
Yeah.
think our free will is being manipulated by social media and, all this behavior change marketing? Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
You see, a tool is as dangerous as the hands that it's in.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
on one end, I would say it's fantastic how we were able to get the message out: wash your hands, sanitize, stay six
Mm-hmm.
feet apart.
Oh,
And
yes.
we are accustomed now to these graphics coming out that inform us and educate us. And it's good, but then sometimes it's in the wrong hands. And I always think of the one that someone put out and used the masthead from the official gazette and
Oh, yes,
made,
yes, yes.
yeah, and made that notice look official. And that scared me.
Yeah.
That scared me. And I appreciate how so many media houses, I think of the Nation First, they're doing this campaign, The Source Matters.
Oh, okay.
You
Mm-hmm.
it's and even then it's still scary, because again, that thing that was coming around to all of us looked like the source. It looked
It's
like the
true. It's
official
true. It's
gazette,
true. Yes,
you
yes.
know. But no, we have to be even more discerning. Yes, is it the right source? But it might not be the right channel.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned right now, WhatsApp is for memes. If it's
Got you. Got
official, you need to send me an email. You need to update your website, your official verified page. Even that thing that came out recently when they were saying that DMX is sick, and think I didn't even believe it at first,
I know what you mean.
because this thing in the wrong hands is very, very scary. And I don't even have the answer as to how we navigate that space. But
Yeah.
being more discerning is what I am doing personally.
Yeah. We
And
have to
it
double
got her
check
check.
and triple
Yes,
check and
double check. And it got her check a good couple boxes before I believe it.
yeah, I
For
got
real.
you.
And one of the things I do is I just wait for the honorable PM to come on and say, some people are like, oh, but I hear, mama. Like, all right, well, when she tells me, it's gold.
Yeah, I suppose the problem is come when it's not just local, local news. Now we
And
go.
that's it. That's it. That is so it. Because things just, even I think today a rumor started that he not only had a heart attack, and I don't know what's people's obsession with making bad news worse, but they were saying he also has COVID. And then his PR team had to come out and say, no, that is not
Oh
true.
my
We
goodness.
haven't released any statement on his current state. They're making it really hard
Oh yes.
for
Oh
PR
yes.
people and publicists
I'm
to do
telling
their
you.
job.
Or maybe just making a lot of work for them too.
Too much work. I don't know if it's equated to more money. Maybe they're happy. I don't know. I
So
wouldn't want that job.
fair enough. I agree with you.
Out in fires all day and all night. Oh,
Oh,
that's scary to me.
so we can't have a discussion on brands and culture without touching a bit on cancel culture.
Yeah.
What are your views on cancel culture or consequence culture, as I heard someone call it recently?
Okay, that's new to
I
me.
thought I was fresh.
That's new to me.
So I
We're
mean,
staying young. We're staying young.
is it a tool
Listen.
of justice or is it
Mhm.
executioner of freedom of speech? I don't know.
I am an avid fan of cancel culture. I know there's
Mhm.
a shift now, and everybody on Twitter is saying, oh, cancel culture is trash, blah, 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 blah. I am a fan of cancel culture. Cancel the racists, the bigots, the homophobes,
Yeah.
cancel the pedophiles, everything.
Mhm.
What I would say though is based on the discussion we've been having all night, where we understand that this tool in the wrong hands can be very, very dangerous. And now I could literally get up tomorrow morning and say such and such a person ran off with my wig and I haven't seen it since. And she's a thief. And everybody be like, cancel her with no evidence.
Yeah,
No.
I
I
got you.
think we as a public need to be much more discerning than that. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with us saying, you know what? We dropping the ads. And there are some people who pretty much drop the ads on themselves.
Mhm.
They've come out and said, this is who I am. And it's up to us to say we don't want it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we gotta really be careful now when it comes to hearsay and the rumor mill, which we know could get terrible in
Oh yes.
Barbados.
Oh, yeah. They
Thank
just
goodness
ain't got
for
no
internet
chill.
and TV. We are a little busier. We are a little busier now that we were in our grandmother's time. You could imagine.
Yeah, bitches ain't got no chill, no chill, no chill.
But some people honestly could do with a good old canceling.
I mean, the other thing too, we talk about
Yeah.
cancel culture, which is like a a catchphrase, but
Yeah.
canceling really isn't anything new. Maybe it's
It's
just the
not.
power has been shifted. Maybe there's
Yeah.
been so much blacklisting and blackballing. Maybe the faces just look
Yes.
that are doing the canceling look different.
Yeah, and the conversation now is online as
Yes.
opposed to word of mouth, and it can
Correct.
spread a lot faster
Yeah.
and a lot farther.
Exactly. Before you
But
were
it's not
canceled in
new.
private, but no.
You'll never work in this town again. That's the
Exactly.
same thing. That's literally a
Exactly.
trope in film that is in so many sitcoms. That isn't
Precisely.
new. It isn't new.
Yeah, I agree. So I agree we also have to be discerning. But do you have
Yeah.
any, I don't know, any tips for how people can navigate the cancel culture minefield other than be
Yeah.
better, do better?
I would definitely say be authentic. One
Okay.
of the things that one of my marketing tutors said to me in this most recent journey, he would have said, you not only need to know the customer you want, you need to know the one you do not want.
Mhm.
And when you are authentic, instead of just trying to go with what's trending, you'll attract the customer that you not only want, the customer that you need. And I've been using that personally and professionally. And to relate that back now to cancel culture, I would say if you, as a, let's say say a soca artist, because we're in Barbados,
Mhm.
you are just being yourself, and 10% of the population has canceled you, I guarantee you that there's still another 15% who wants you exactly who as you
That's
are.
true. That's true.
And they're going to buy into whatever it is you're doing. Derek Jackson has been canceled left, right, and center. This is, this guy,
yes.
the relationship guy.
I
But
know.
someone was saying that his social media has been increasing. His following has been increasing. You know why? Because there's a bunch of people who are now very into who he has turned out to be.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, really? This is the real you? We didn't like this guy before. Let's get on board now.
Yeah.
So some of it is just like the urge to pass an accident and slow down. Some of it
It's
is
true.
actually
It's true. It's
just
true.
want to see the world burn. But I am also sure that some people are really there for is like, you know what? Maybe you just need to turn around, come back and say, you know what? Some of us cheat, and there should be some redemption for us. And let's have a community.
Well, it seems that yes, he has also found his tribe.
He has found his tribe. His vibe attracted his tribe. But I would definitely say the way to navigate it is to be authentic as a brand and even as an individual. Just be you. Some people will cancel you, and some people will be like, "This is it."
Fair enough. That makes sense. So lastly, I mean, other than I assume hosting more seasons of 40 Culture and taking up the presidency of Kiwani's Club, what's up next for you? And does that qualify as a spoiler alert?
Well, speaking of spoiler alert, I really missed that. So that would have been my radio show on YFM on Saturdays 10 to 2. And when COVID came along and skin up so many apple carts, mine was one, and I lost that show. So what I'm looking to do is go ahead and do that again.
Okay.
But again, using the digital space. I'll either write, because I actually prefer to blog than to vlog, even though vlogs do better.
Okay, well.
Video does better online, but you gotta be true to yourself and be authentic. And I really do love to talk about television and film, and it's just like a way of de-stressing for me. So I want to bring back a website I had called pickpod.com.
Okay.
So that is in the works. And then recently I filmed a pilot for a TV series. So if that is picked up, if that is picked up, you'll see me doing that as well. And the rest of it, no more spoilers.
Fair enough. I feel like you've given us sufficient.
I'm giving you some tea.
I know. Well, now I'm like real keen on this show. So I'm like, you have to let me know when the pilot is available.
Of course. I hope soon. I'm very excited.
Well, of course. So thank you so much for joining me today, Paula, for the first episode of season 3 and my first episode with a fellow podcaster. Your energy truly is infectious, and I look forward to all the things you're doing, I have to say.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a really good time. It's been a great chat.
I think
it was so worth my time.
I'm glad to hear that.
So much.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to join us every other Wednesday for another episode of Shak. Subscribe to our podcast using your favorite podcast platform. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can also connect with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter, or by email at akia@shakshak.club. Let's shake things up.